Greetings, everyone. This is the Hipster Snek, and today I'm going to be playing for your entertainment a game about digging a hole. With me today is my good friend Itaku, who is going to be joining me in the hole.
Well, we are digging ourselves into this hole due to our taste in waifus, no doubt.
Yeah, probably. Got another tick mark of some sort. Okay. House for sale. Only 10,000 with gold treasure in the yard? In the garden. Buy now. And get rich. Oh, this is all sorts of trap written all over it. But looks like we went for it anyway. Super Mega Digger 3000 Ultimate 2 plus detector set. Explodes when battery gets empty. That fills me with such confidence. I am ready for riches beyond my wildest imagining. Okay, let's size up my situation here. Ooh, okay, mouse is a little sensitive. Have to get used to that. I have a working bench. Battery is full. Health is full. Inventory, battery, jetpack. Sell ores. Sold.
You have a man. This update and Deep Rock Galactic is looking wild.
Yeah, there's no spiders. I received a gift from Ditaku, which I will not be able to see right now because I'm in full screen. But I will investigate that. This is a nice yard. $10,000 for this house? In this economy? Oh. X marks the spot.
Watch it be, like something like you're living in, the middle of bum screw.
Nothing.
Bum screw, Western Texas. The next thing over is, cow crossing 300 miles away.
Okay, for some reason, my controller is causing me to drift, so I'm just going to unplug that. There we go. Oh! Rock and stone!
Do you get access to a bigger...
Well, I don't really know what's available yet. So I'm just going to start, start climbing on down.
Another rock.
Rock and stone in the heart.
I saw a thing the other day from
I can jump.
a particular commentator, about apparently there was a fiance who she was like, my fiance keeps just going to this hole and he's just digging a hole. Should I be concerned? And
No.
I saw that. I'm like, dude, you should go check out his hole. And if anything, I'd bring a shovel and be like, hey, I'm here to see the hole, and if I can help out.
I would like to assist in your endeavor, sir. You seem like an upstanding gentleman.
I see what you're doing. I want to help out.
I want to be a part of this. I was talking about it. Oops. I was talking about it with Itaku, and I was like, is there anything more wholesome than guys who just come up across a hole and their first basic instinct is, I want to know what's down there. And so they start digging.
Are you saying that there's Are you implying that there's going to be a snack dwarf girl, dating sim called
Wholesome Love?
Yes, where you have to dig her a hole.
Well, obviously, if you're a dwarf, you gotta show her that you can dig holes better than anyone else. I mean...
You battery low, what do you do?
No, it's fine. We can recharge. It's not an issue. I'm just going to try to get this last rock. Got it. Okay. So, now we're going to sell the stone. Recharging, thankfully, is pretty cheap. And let's save. I need this. So it's like $1 or $2 to completely recharge. And now we can actually upgrade our shovel. Which...
Who knew that,
Yeah, we're going to upgrade the shovel. Yeah, alright.
I have worked in hardware. I have never seen an automatic shovel before. That's some science fiction BS right here.
Ah, yeah, we're getting more bang for our buck already. Yeah, rock and stone. If you ain't
So
rockin'
as a
stone, you ain't coming home.
I'm just saying, they have missed an opportunity not having the rival elf corporation.
Well, this is private property. We're not like on Hoxus or anything, so we don't. Ooh, we have coal. I thought that was like background rock, but no, that's actually an item. Next upgrade will definitely need to be our backpack, though. Carrying 3 things at a time is going to get tiresome pretty quick. Okay. Oh,
I have some coal to sell. How much? Like 6 ounces.
This economy, that might go a ways. Aw, yeah. $4 whole, gents. Let's see. What can that get us? Inventory's going to be 6. Run the battery a little bit further down, just so I can get the best bang for my dollar. Ah, yeah. I didn't even see that there. I hit that one by accident. Yeah, okay, let's go recharge now. Oh, okay, getting to the point where we need to jump out of our hole, so, it's coming along nicely is what I'm saying.
That would explain why you need the jetpack then.
Recharge. Ooh, I can upgrade my inventory. All right. And then we can look up the battery upgrade. Yeah, I was about to say, we do not have infinite height. We're not a Dragoon. So we can't just, give physics the middle finger and fly away. That was actually a really funny thing.
Way, boys!
In Final Fantasy Tactics, there was a thing I discovered that Dragoons get a passive called Ignore Height, which does precisely what it sounds like it does. And you can just, walk on top of huge structures that no one else can get you on, and just, rain terror upon them.
In Tactics Advance 2, as much as people like to poop on that game, Noodle and I found that the optimal strategy is to actually invest heavily into Gria, who are these dragon ladies. And their entire thing is because they actually have wings, they basically get the Dragoons Ignore Height for free.
Nice.
And so they actually get a Ranger-style class, and they get a magic class, an attack class called the Shaman.
Nice.
And the entire thing with the Shaman is it's basically their version of Geomancer.
Oh, okay.
And so, depending on the environment, they can actually... interesting. That's the first time I've seen our inventory being full.
No, we've gotten that warning a couple times, but now we actually have the more expanded inventory, so it's happening quite a bit less.
Right. But anyways, basically the optimal strategy is to park them on the highest hill that you can. And the thing with especially Geomancer in that game is that it has stupidly long range.
Right.
So basically what you do is you park them on a high hill and you just snipe at enemies with your, And the funny thing is the way that magic works in TA2 is that you don't get all your magic at once. You get a proportion of it every turn, just as basically because it's there's magic mist and you're inhaling the magic particles
You're just like absorbing
So-
ambient magical energy, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So basically, yeah, the entire thing is like, if you are just doing tier 2 shaman arts, then basically you can just cast forever. And so, yeah, usually we would be like just mist rain or solar glare. At which point, because basically the entire thing is like either the sun was always going to be out, or in certain maps they would have what is known as the thick mist. Like literally, the magic was so deep in that area that it would affect the weather. And so that was the entire. And so, so basically you would always be able to either do one or the other.
Okay.
And that was, as I recall, Noodle was able to beat the super boss of that one, which was actually the original boss of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, entirely with his army of dragon girls using that method. It's honestly, I actually really liked Tactics Advance. I know that the original Tactics has its fans, but I don't know.
Cog.
Oh, I mean,
Literally
more
Cog.
Cog, yes, but there are other people that really like it. So.
Yeah, we're getting into a groove now, boy. Yeah.
I was about to say, you might need to dig out so you actually are creating a ledge, so it's not literally just you digging to the surface of the
straight down shaft. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to keep a little bit of a lip, like I'm keeping it a little bit lower over here, and I'm trying to make it a little bit deeper because I'm going further into the yard.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll adjust accordingly. We have some variability we can work with here.
I'm about to say, you're not getting the full Deep Rock Galactic experience without, an endless horde of spiders attacking you.
Angry spiders and at least one of your teammates being lost at any given time.
Guys, I fell down a ravine.
Okay, we'll come find you. Where are you? There's a ravine in the bottom of the ravine. What?
Look at the map, and it's just Ditaku, falling down multiple shafts. And you're like, how? And you're like, I don't know. I just fell down, and then I fell down again, and then I fell down a third time.
I slipped, okay.
Thank God I'm a scout, and I have a grappling gun, but good lord.
Ooh, got iron. Now we're really embracing the dwarf lifestyle.
Can I just say, too, I find it really, I don't know, I know where it comes from, but I kind of, just fundamentally disagree with the entire, understood, history of, pop culture, and that they're like, hey, it's the golden age, and the golden age was back in the olden times.
Golden age is when I was 7 years old and didn't have to pay taxes.
Well, the golden age was back in the olden times, back in the 1940s, or it was back in the 1970s. And it's like, no. I mean, it all stems from the Greek understanding of the distant past was way better. There was a much more deeper understanding of things in the distant past, and we have fundamentally lost something that can never be returned. And so, cosmic reality as we understand it now is a lesser, less full version of the actual true reality, whatever that is. If that makes any sense.
No, I get it.
That's where that comes from, by the way. That's the entire reason why, you have the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and all that. And it basically all stems from that. And honestly, I don't think that that's true.
No, I really don't
I,
either.
I
Especially
mean,
not when it
like,
comes to the broader popular culture, where they're like, eh,
I
what
don't
was so much better was when I was 3 and didn't have responsibilities. Everything was just better. Like, was it? Was it really? Or are you just making that up
honestly.
to make yourself feel better?
I mean, I hate to say it, but uh, I really, Jitaku hot take time here, and I know this is just me, like really honestly, the 1970s were probably like the high point of like superhero comics, really,
Yeah, probably.
because they had ironed out, like what worked in terms of what works. They had the really, really, really beautiful art from like really, really legendary artists, and they were actually moving away from the Comic Codes Authority. So they were able to tell some like really, really interesting stories, but they were not quite so prepared to like go into, oh, hey guys, did you know that we hate Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan? No, Alan Moore. I don't think that even though you literally had an entire page which was nothing but "I hate Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan." I hate Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. It was literally every single character was saying that, except for you know
Bad guy, man.
evil, evil bad guy man who goes around being like, "I think we should kill criminals," and they're like, "Evil bad guy man, you should stop doing that. You're so bad."
I'm just gonna say,
Criminals deserve.
the entire idea that superheroes shouldn't kill their criminals is literally just an excuse for lazy writers to keep reusing the same bad guys.
I mean, honestly, if you can't conceive of a way to bring the criminals back, they don't deserve to come back. And even
Especially
then,
if killing them off like meant something when it happened.
and I mean, I gotta say, like, some of these characters don't deserve to come back anyway. I do
No, you
not
guys, we
understand why.
definitely need to bring back the Joker for the 80 millionth time.
I don't understand why people like him.
No, guys, it's definitely super important that we do this. And not at all a huge waste of everyone's time. Nope. Definitely not a waste of time.
No. Oh, Snek. Are we going to do more Scribble Knots DC?
Oh yeah, we definitely need to do that.
I know we need to grind some more, but
We're in the grinding phase, but that's okay though. I'd be keen. Yeah, now that we've updated the show a second time, we're actually making really good headway.
Oh no, guys, there's a bad guy over there. He's a bad guy. Oh no, guess we're gonna have to send Power Girl after him.
Let's send Power Girl and Miss Martian. And Dumb Bunny. Because the game actually knows who that is. Like, legit props. Like, they really did their research for that game. Like, I remember I typed in... When I first started playing, I typed in Dumb Bunny just to be funny, because I didn't think for an instant they'd have her. And she actually spawned in, and I was like, oh my god, they beat me. They beat me at my own game!
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I think it was when we were like, okay, Guy Gardner, and then they're like, wait, do you mean Guy Gardner Green Lantern, Guy Gardner Star Sapphire,
Guy Gardner,
like
Red Lantern.
Like, oh no,
they're on to us.
Of course, we meant Guy Gardner Green Lantern,
But the fact that they had those choices, again, they did their homework, and I respect. Mad props. The Scribblenauts team is pretty much having to do the opposite of what they did when they did Drawn to Life. Whoops.
Is this? I was gonna say, is this wooden fence just go down infinitely?
It might. I'm not going to rule out that possibility. Oops.
The neighbor was like, no, I see your game. You're gonna stay on your side.
Taking, but I'm not going to let you get under my fence. I've left everything
You stay on your side of
in my backyard.
You stay on your side of the yard, neighbor. The true hello neighbor.
Fences really do make good neighbors. Who knew?
I used to, way back in the olden days, have a Tumblr. I know you can go ahead and crucify me.
Technically, I
but,
still do,
I
but I don't remember the last time I did anything with it.
The one time I actually did anything with it, I apparently got one follower that was really big into Hello Neighbor, and I do not understand why. Because I mean, really never saw the appeal of that game.
I mean,
even in the early stages when they're like, no, this is actually good. It's like,
okay, I will give you the breakdown. I'll give you the TLDR, since I'm in my Zen mode here. So when the game first came out, the entire thing was a cat and mouse game between player and neighbor. And the entire concept was if you entered the house a particular way, the neighbor would adjust his play style to account for what you did. If you smashed out a window, he would board up that window and windows that were immediately next to it. So he was better prepared for when you came back. And so that option wouldn't be the same. And then if you came in through a certain door, he'd lock the door, or he'd put bear traps around the door, making the door a less desirable option.
I would really love to have it be you were just you, the player, or actually just a nosy psycho, and it's just this regular guy.
It's a guy who wants to be left alone. And
yeah, he's just leave me alone, please. And you're like, what's going on in here?
I want to see what's going on in your house, because that's a healthy boundary to cross. So the whole thing was when it first got big, was people were seeing this cat and mouse game, and that's where people got interested, because they're oh, that's really clever. The game is actively adapting to your play style, which made it really interesting because the same approach wouldn't work twice. So if you went with a strategy oh, I'll go in the window on the side of the house, the neighbor's well, crap, he got in through the window on the side of my house, I should adjust to make that much more difficult for him. And it was that element of the game was truly what made the game really special. So, when the next big update dropped, they didn't do that. Instead, they added a lot of useless puzzles and parkour segments. And most of the fans were okay, well, that's not really what we were after. But it wasn't it was bad. Okay, so it's okay, well, this leg of the game, maybe it's more parkour, and then, maybe we can get back to the interactions with the neighbor, which is what, made the game popular. Well, the more updates came, the more it became bad puzzles and bad parkour. And it was much, much, much less about the neighbor AI. In fact, there were several updates that seemed to make the neighbor actively dumber somehow. And nobody liked that. The lamp, I guess? Okay. And so nobody liked the dumbed-down neighbor. They liked the cat and mouse game. They didn't want the parkour, they didn't want the puzzles, but the more the game developed and the longer it went through its alpha and beta trials, the more it became about those things. And then the game devs kind of started making themselves a bit unpopular by coming off as really, really, really desperate. You gotta understand that Hello Neighbor came out in the wake of games like FNAF, came out in the wake of Bendy and the Ink Machine. And there was a particular YouTuber, you might know him, his name was MattPat. He made Game Theory. And one of his favorite things to cover was, indie horror. And so, the devs behind Hello Neighbor were, ostensibly begging him like genuinely begging him to cover their game. And everyone was just kind of like, okay, that's kind of like bad form. Maybe don't do that. Um, they were like bombarding him with messages. It was like compilations of tweets that they sent out at Matt Patton Game Theory, just to be like, please cover our game. Oh God, please.
I wonder what you're doing with all this dirt now that I think about it.
That is an excellent question. Maybe I'm throwing it over the
Jeez.
fence to get back at my neighbor for making an infinitely deep fence. But nope, we are under. We are under the fence. It's official. We have access to anyone's yard we want.
I am no longer Snek. I am now Mole Man.
I am now one of the mole people that main character of the Time Machine encountered. I am the weird mole communists. Yes.
Oh, they weren't communists. They were weird technocrats because the entire thing was apparently they had like heavy industrial machinery. It's was supposed to be like the fact that like industrial life would be a biological pressure, basically. Not understanding that like as time went on, heavy industry would adapt to because of technological advances.
Right.
It seems to like have this understanding that we would always be stuck in the 1870s.
Well, I mean, odds. Why would we ever move on from the 1870s?
So, I mean,
I just evolve into a mole person and start living underground. And show
the Time Machine really is truly fascinating, though. Have you ever actually read it?
I have, yes. I have a compilation, a short compilation of short stories that H.G. Wells wrote.
Yeah, he's a really good writer. Him and Edgar Wright Burroughs are actually really good. And it's a shame that like everyone's like, J.R.R. Tolkien was like he's where modern fantasy came from, and it's like, actually no. H.G. Wells
in a lot of ways,
some of that.
In a lot of ways,
it's H.G. Wells. It's Jack Vance. It's Michael Moorcock in a lot of ways. So
remember, everyone, Earth first. We'll strip mine the other planets later. Reveal unto me your secrets. All right. Snek, it's just a chest full of gold. Are you going to tear up your entire yard? Yes! I'm going to tear up my entire yard. Better believe I'm going to tear up the entire yard.
I'm going to take the entire yard and you're going to put it somewhere else.
I thought I heard something, but I don't know what.
You're probably hearing the coffee grinder.
Oh. It sounded like a goat, but, maybe it's a coffee grinder.
No, I can assure you that it's a coffee grinder. We don't have a goat over here.
As far as I know.
You got me. I didn't want to talk about the torrid, whirlwind romance I have with Natasha.
Well, I hope she's treating you right.
Well, she's definitely not treating me badly.
Oof. All right, everyone go into the comments and give us your best goat puns. For Natasha, of course. Well, I'll always have my brick patio. I might as well start, skimming the cheap stuff out of the way.
I say, any brick patios that I'm familiar with, you should be able to just move. But I guess you don't want to, like, mess with the foundation of your actual house.
Nope. Especially here in Sneckburg, where we don't have foundations, our houses are built on slabs. There is no basement. You don't find basements in Sneckburg. That's just not a thing.
Sneck's got
Because
tired of,
most of
being...
our...
Oh, I was going to say, Sneck's got tired of, in their internet fights with each other, complaining about, I bet you live in your mom's basement. And they're like, no, I don't. Stop saying that.
So, a pipe? Yes.
No.
I think I just found a pipe.
Don't mess with your own.
Oh, no, it's a brick ledging.
Yeah, that's part of the foundation.
Yeah.
That's what's holding the fence there in place.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's optional compared to, untold riches left by Gold Rogers.
Goldie Roger, yes.
Yes.
Your pirate king ancestor.
He was king of the pirates. He had wealth, fame, and fortune beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hanged him from the gallows, this is the final word he said.
Fortune is yours for the taking, only if you can find it first. I left everything I own in that place. Yeah, that's actually what is said in the manga. The entire One Piece thing that's said right here is only in the Orchid stuff.
Yep.
And so, thousands of pirates proceeded to take to the Grand Line in order to make their dreams come true.
What? Oh. Well, okay then. It's very polite of the game to do that for me. It's like, hey, idiot, maybe you should chill for a second and remember to save your game and all the progress you've made tearing your backyard up into a mud hole. Erosion's a myth. Erosion's a myth, anyway.
Well, yes, because, who is the true reality? It's, Psycho with an electro shovel.
My neighbors all said I was crazy, but I'll show them. I'll dig up my entire yard to find the One Piece.
This implies to me that there's just a bunch of gnomes with little electro shovels going around, whittling down mountains. Just to mess with people.
Chip the glasses, crack the plates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates.
That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. So carefully with the plates. Crack the knives and dull the forks. The van will burn the corks. Get the band and the plates. So carefully with the plates.
The entire song is actually showing that dwarves are actually excellent house guests, and they would never do anything to disrespect the housekeeper.
Because they're openly mocking all that, and they actually are.
They're
really
making fun of
good.
people who would do that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, powering up.
Oh, we actually have a trowel now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm able to mess some dirt up now. Yeah, the song is sang with their tongue firmly in their cheek. Whoops. I can pick up two oars at once, and that can be dangerous.
The issue is the fact that they're trying to do a story, a children's story, and make it like deep and hardcore, and it's like that's not The Hobbit.
I'm just saying.
Not The Hobbit at all.
I'm saying Peter Jackson should have kept 15 birds and 5 fir trees, because it's exactly the kind of thing goblins would do. They would literally sing a song to poke fun at the fact that you're in a hopeless situation and about to die. That is exactly something goblins would do.
Oh, I mean, it is. The fact that they entirely removed that scene is honestly a travesty, because the thing with it is that it literally is the goblins coming across them. in these trees being held there by wargs, and the entire time the goblins are just laughing and making fun of both the wargs that got in that situation and also the dwarves.
Yeah.
That's the entire thing. It's them making fun and bullying people that are weaker than them.
Which is the goblins' MO.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say about it apart from the fact that, what do you expect literally from the children of Satan? I mean,
the goblins are basically demons on Earth. They are evil, nasty, they're odious, they do not create, they do not have industry, they do not understand economics. They live
No, they have industry. That's entirely their thing, though, is that their industry in the mind of Tolkien is twisting nature into a lesser evil form, basically. You have to understand this is a guy who called motorcycles work machines.
Right.
Okay. He did not like industry and saw the ironworks of the northern England as literally basically fonts to hell. He was kind of a Luddite in a lot of ways.
A bit.
And his explanation for the orcs is that they literally are elves, lesser beings of God, twisted by Satan to his own purposes, basically. So, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you on that one. That they're not good people. They're not things that are, designed to be good. They are evil, very sad beings, and it's sad because honestly, he wrestled with the entire idea of can orcs be saved? Because they are technically speaking intelligent, sapient people, and as a Christian, it's all people can theoretically be saved because they all have souls. But orcs are just truly irredeemable. So you see where the paradox lies.
Yeah, he wrestled with that for sure, and you can tell. But the point was the orcs were to represent the evil found in men, and the hobbits were generally protagonistic forces because they were basically simple British farmers. They lived simple lives. They enjoyed simple pleasures, good food, good drink, and good company. And in the books, one of the reasons that everyone knew Mordor was super evil and you didn't go there is because trees didn't grow there. That's in the books. Read it. It's a really good read, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
And
never mind the fact that they have a bunch of really funny. They're literally going deep into enemy territory. At which point, Samwise sees one of the Southlanders' Oliphants and proceeds to, be like, "Look, Mr. Frodo, it's an Oliphant!" Just like the old Gaffer used to talk about,
Yep.
And he did this entire poem about elephants. He's like, "Oh, it's an Oliphant. I'm as tall as a house. I'm as gray as a mouse."
Yep. And they also... They start the song, but they don't finish it. There's a bit pretty early in Fellowship of the Ring where Frodo is at a tavern and he sings a song that he learned in Hobbiton about, I think it was a song about cooking, as I recall. And, the movies really just chose not to, go into the songs, but the songs were part of the charm of this series. The series of stories, the part of the reason there are silly songs is because these books were written as bedtime stories for his children. The Hobbit in particular.
I know that it gets a lot of flack, but honestly, I feel like the Rankin Bass version of the Hobbit honestly is more into the spirit of the book.
It is,
and the Peter Jackson trilogy is.
It is like I get what the Jackson trilogy was trying to do. They were trying to like fill in the gaps because there's like some stuff that happens off screen, and the Lord of the Rings were like, oh yeah, that happened during the events of the Hobbit. We just didn't show you that, and so he really wanted to make it a point to like get into that, but
Yeah.
like it creates a lot of bloat and it creates a lot of things that Bilbo himself was not all that privy to at the time. Like
Yes. Like the assault on Dol Guldur, which is what they had Gandalf going into, that actually did happen. That's the reason why Gandalf just kind of is like, well, I gotta get going, and he just like leaves in The Hobbit until he just goes up again because he actually was helping Sauron and a bunch of the other Elvish elders basically suss out that yeah, this random human necromancer, it's actually Sauron. Sauron survived the Second Age. So yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, Bilbo didn't know that, and so it didn't really go into that in The Hobbit. But yes, and I kind of agree. It basically just bloated things. And while it's cool to actually see a bit of the unfinished tales and part of the Silmarillion gone into, I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I'm just so used to the Rankin Bass version of Smaug, where it's he's loud, thundering, and blustery, and yes, he actually is basically a giant fire-breathing cat.
Which is like
rather
the
than
perfect way of summing up a dragon.
I am Smaug, and I speak like this, and yet they get like a guy with a really deep, booming voice, and the entire time they're just like, I speak like this. It's like, okay, that's all right.
I mean, I
get in like a 6-hour trilogy of movies, I'm only in like 10 minutes of the film.
Even though,
I think I'm actually
the impetus for everything that happens.
I think he's actually in more of the Rankin Bass film, and the Rankin Bass film is only like 60 minutes long.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's pretty short. And honestly, that's the thing, is like the Rankin Bass film, it gets to the point, and it also just, it has the time to like, let the characters be themselves. And, like, that's actually one of the things I really liked about the Rankin Bass version is, here's the thing, for those of you who haven't read the books, is, the dwarves really didn't believe in Bilbo until he was basically put via trial by fire. The first dwarf of the original 13 who believed in Bilbo and thought that he would do great things was Bombor. The big fat guy who's comic relief because he's fat, so he just eats a bunch, and that's his entire character. Yeah, it was him.
To be fair, Snek,
I mean, I know how he dies, yes, like...
I mean, he gets so fat that they actually have to roll him out, and actually, a Dwarf Fortress-esque moment, they have to expand the door in order to roll his corpse out of the room that he died in.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
so...
Like, the whole thing is, he's the first of the lot to go, I believe in you, and you're going to be just fine. And it was like right before, I believe, the battle with the trolls, where Bilbo is first put to the test as a burglar. Something he had never actually done. Gandalf just made that up to give him a role to play. And Bombor's like, oh no, you're going to be fine. I have full faith and confidence in you. And part of that was part of the reason Bilbo was able to think on his feet and become the burglar the party needed him to be.
Yeah.
Just saying, as ignoble an end as Bombor met, he was a bro, and he deserves a little bit of reputation for that.
I mean, my heart always goes out for Balin. Like, he's trying to reclaim your ancestral homeland, only to return to the site and source of your homeland's wealth, only to be proven, you dug too greedily and too deep, and you awoke Space Satan. It's like, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. And yet Space Satan's there just being like, lol, lamau, XD, the drums in the deep.
We literally
Awakening.
just wanted to have our industry and to make neat metal trinkets and conduct trade with other races, and you came and did this to us.
Well, you awoke a horror of the first age, and you have no means of dealing with it because the tools and knowledge of the first age no longer exist in the realm of man.
Well, poop. I'll tell you an interesting thing. I saw a fan theory, and it was pretty convincing, where they were comparing maps between the Silmarillion and that used in The Hobbit. And they came up with a pretty convincing argument that Sting, Bilbo's sword, or really like a dagger, might have been the same dagger used to pry the Silmaril from the crown in the Silmarillion.
It, I mean, it is supposed to be one of the Blades of Gondolin, one of the cities of the north, which is, if you look at maps of Middle-earth, the reason why you're like, what's in the north? Why are people not going to the north? The reason why they're not going to the north is because it's a giant frozen ocean. That entire area was nuked by the Valar, the angels of the elves, because that's where the first age happened. Like, pretty much everything in the first age happened in that area. And the final battle with Morgoth, basically Sauron's boss, ended in a giant battle that nuked that entire area. And so it's just ash and ice and just ocean, because the entire area was just sunk to the bottom of the sea. So there's nothing there, including Gondolin. And so, yeah, I mean, I could kind of see that. It's been years since I've read the Silmarillion.
Same.
It's crazy, though. But, I mean, I theoretically see it. There's actually a lot of people that are still around, like Galadriel, actually. She actually was a young girl in the first age. As I recall, she actually went over with Fëanor in his mad quest to retrieve the Silmarils. But, I mean, which is funny to me then that they're like, Galadriel, in Rings of Power, she's a hot-headed, young lady that doesn't know anything. It's like, actually, she would have been alive for, like, eons at that point, and she would have seen the war that her uncle waged against literal, actual Satan in order to retrieve these 3 precious gems from literal, actual Satan. And seeing how it drove him to ruin, drove his sons to ruin, drove her brothers to ruin, and pretty much her entire clan were just basically destroyed, either by their quest for vengeance or their quest to retrieve their pride and their quest to retrieve these magic gems. Basically nothing good came out of the war for the Silmarils. Nothing good. And the only good that came out of it was when the 3 of them were basically removed from Middle-earth and basically placed in the heavens.
Because really, there was no place for something that powerful in Middle-earth anyway. It was just better that they were free of them, and that way they wouldn't continue to have influence.
Well, it's just people kept desiring them. It's just they were so beautiful that people are like, I need to be the single person to possess them. So,
yeah. Kind of like what we're doing in our yard right now, actually. And if you think about it, this really is a man driven to madness. I must find the treasure. You guys don't understand.
Either that or he really loves digging, which, more props to him. I understand.
I get it. There's something to be said for that.
I still have to wonder where he's taking all the dirt.
Yeah, you know,
That is not a small amount of dirt.
we have moved a considerable amount of earth, yes. Especially now that we have, our level 3 shovel, and we're moving a lot of earth now. I mean, like, one scoop right now is like 3 from when we started. We're being efficient. We can be Baby Pugum's friend.
She gets so mad when we bring that up now, but it's like, it's
one of those funny things kids say. It's cute.
And see, the funny thing is when she was, I mean, even now when she's a young lady, she still says things that are just like really profound and like just, she honestly, like when people talk about having an old soul, she really does. And she is like wise beyond her years. And I think it's just really funny, and she's a very blessed person.
The Pugums are a strong-willed people. And I have nothing.
I just wish that she wasn't so hard on herself, but
Wow! Hi, Dr. Pot. I see you're trying to write a prescription for Dr. Kettle over there, but I think you meant to aim it at that mirror.
Never. I can't I can't be easier on myself. I can't. If I'm not hard on myself, what can I be? I can't forgive myself. I can't be nice to me. Never.
I know it's in my position, it's also the pot calling the kettle black, but it's also like, damn, dude. I love you like a brother, but you are one of the most stubborn, hard-headed men I've ever met. But honestly, that's probably why we get on as well as we do.
Utaku proceeds to put up the love yourself, puts up a my mirror to Snek, and Snek's like, no!
No! Mr. Stark, I don't feel so,
Snecko is just like, Dad. Oh, he's dead.
That is a shame. Yeah, that is actually Snecko's voice. Without the audio editing, that is Snecko's voice. Is just me doing
Xbox.
Really terrible falsetto.
Sister, he doesn't have an Xbox.
I have a Switch.
Xbox.
I have a Switch and a PC. That's all you're getting.
I call his Xbox.
Okay, Snecko, whatever makes you happy. I just want his character motivation. You want to review obscure indie games about busty furry girls on the internet.
Yes.
Okay, Doctor. I want to run a what if past you. If I actually was, a female YouTuber, nothing was different. All of the components and pieces were the same. Do you think my channel would be like 3 or 4 times its current size when people discovered it was a girl talking about like Zed Technician games and Lose games? I kind of think it would.
I think probably, yes. I mean, probably. Heck, I imagine if you actually had a VTuber model, a female VTuber model, you would get significantly more traction.
I'll be honest, I've thought about going that avenue. But it's like, I'm a worm. I'm just like a little angry cartoon worm. And my VTuber model would be this very tiny yellow worm on the side of the screen. And I'm not
just make it like a sock puppet.
Yeah, it's like, that'd be like I'd have to have Flork design it, just because like I'd just be this floppy little noodle. And it's just...
Alternatively, you could have, the Snek actually, like around, on the head of,
like a scarf around a character.
Or on the top of the head of hot furry girl.
You know what I should do is ask Zed Technician Senpai if I can use the character Deborah So she was a manticore or a
Deborah.
she was a manticore or a chimera, and she had a little snake on her tail named Sammy. And I was like, if you just change Sammy to like the snack with the red pompadour, I would have like my entire MO summed up in like a VTuber avatar.
You know, a thought occurred to me.
What's that?
You say that.
What's that?
Um, do you remember in Amazing Quest 2
No, the
when
rewrite
we had
or the rewrite or the original?
the rewrite? The rewrite, yes.
Okay.
The Womanticore
Oh yes.
with the sapient tail.
Yes, with a very sassy sapient tail.
Yes, do that.
That would be pretty funny.
There you go. I mean, she was like the best character in that thing too.
She was like honestly, you could build an entire game around her, let alone her being a, a main character.
How old are you
in
two?
RPG.
12. I don't know how old I am. Well, I'm 2. Therefore, I'm the adult in this situation.
That makes sense. It does. Ah, yeah. It's all coming together.
I don't know how to deal with this. She just took a candy bar and she snapped it in half, and then she ate one half, and then her tail ate the other half. How does she poop? How does she poop?
I'm Inky, and this is Doo-Doo. Doo-Doo? Sorry, I panicked.
I actually had a thought about Amazing Quest 1 the other day.
Do tell.
Something that occurred to me was about actually having Zodon go more into the reason why he did what he was doing.
Oh,
And actually,
Pudding Uprising?
yeah. And basically having him like have a moment where it's like, look, we had to rise up against the Golden Masters because they were basically treating us as chattel. We were slaves and weapons to them, and that's about it. We were not people. And so we, as the people with power, have to maintain this power, and we are going to oppress all other peoples, be they Golden Masters, be they Chimera, be they any other mutants on this earth. Because we puddings have power, and if we don't have the power, then we are going to be, once again, as people with power, we are going to be reduced to chattel and just like living weapons again.
That is a fair point. Honestly, Zodon was always the more level-headed villain, and he was just like, hey, you may disagree, but I'm doing this for a purpose. He wasn't...
Yeah, it's like literally, honestly, the thing I was thinking is like, it's like if we never attacked your village, you would never have ever considered to even try. Like, do you really care about the chimeras? Do you really care about us assaulting the mermaids? No, you don't. It's the only reason why you care is the fact that we attacked your village. So
that would actually be really interesting because then, Hero would then get the rejoinder. It's like, I may not have cared before, but I've met them now. I know the Chimera. I know the miners. I know the mermaids, and they're my friends.
Okay, you're lying about the miners. You don't actually care.
Okay, no one cares about the miners. No one cares about the miners, Dama least of all. Just Dama sitting there. What? Object detected. Wait a minute. Okay, hang on. Let me drop my inventory here, guys. We might have found the One Piece. The One Piece may not have been
yo.
It was around here-ish. Okay.
I'm gonna laugh if you're standing on it, like just right on top of it.
I think that's exactly what I was doing. I managed to fill my inventory from that position, no less. Okay, hang on. It's right about... Okay, hang on. Hold your beak, Sophie.
No. So yeah, I mean, and that's honestly kind of why I like the pair of Zodon and JD, because like Zodon is, the actual one that like, makes good points, but JD is like the one that's actually really fun to write for.
Because she's like completely unhinged and doesn't care.
Yes. Well, no, she cares. She just um her interest range is basically boils down to cute girls and her big brother that she loves dearly, and that's about it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have many qualms apart from that. So
that and her WWE addiction.
yeah, I never I have to admit I couldn't really square the circle as to how a young lady obsessed with other pretty young ladies would also be interested in WWE, but here we are.
Well, maybe she has very particular tastes for both sexes. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, guys, hang on. We're gonna find the one.
Look, I'm just saying, if you're not either like a dead or alive model or like Hulk Hogan, I'm not interested.
You gotta have the muscles. Well, that's it. She's only into muscles.
That would explain so much. Also, the reason why she keeps, getting tangled up with Amelia.
Yep. That checks out. Okay, we did it! That was $29. That was not the one piece. That was just a big chunk of change. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't object to, but I was hoping for a little bit more. Got my hopes up a little high there.
That's not the actual chest, is it?
No, that was just a box full of that was a box full of dollar bills. That's definitely not the treasure chest. We saw a pretty clear picture of the treasure chest. Okay, we are getting into the range where everything's getting just a bit pricey, but that's a... Alright. This is a game that makes the player wax philosophical, because eventually you go on autopilot and start talking about Tolkien lore and an amazing story that you and your bro wrote. Actually, I did the same thing when I did Power Wash Simulator. So,
really?
Yeah, I kind of just was like, I went into my Zen state and started just, doing the game, and I was like, I didn't really focus on what I was talking about here, but who cares? It's time for us to diggy hole, diggy hole. Also, if you guys haven't heard, Windrose is a very good band. They do dwarf metal. Even though I think they're all like 6 feet in real life.
Well, maybe they're like Moorcock dwarves.
That is possible.
Which is actually interesting. If you're familiar with the Infinity War, Marvel dwarves, which are like 12 feet tall, that's basically the way they are. And the entire reason for that being is that they see themselves in comparison to the giants, which are actually like 30 feet tall. So like, well, even though we're 12 feet tall, according to giants, we're dwarves, so...
Ergo dwarves.
Yeah. Hey, I need to actually sit down and read the Hawkmoon books. I never actually read them. But Moorcock is always a good time. I really like his writing. Oh.
It's almost like we have a whole podcast episode coming up soon, where you'll get to hear Nitaku go at great length about his love of Michael Moorcock books.
Well, I have to, listen to my talk about, Exalted first.
Yep.
I actually saw a thing about that the other day, by the way. Or I tweeted about that actually the other day because there was a what game do you love that you wish was talked about more, but the fandom is absolutely toxic cancer? And I'm like, tabletop game, but exalted.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah. Gosh, what game would I pick? Like, the thing is, a lot of what I love is really niche, so it's not like the fandom is like it's not that the
No,
fandom is toxic.
that's the thing. It's
that
like
the fandom is tiny.
I mean, I saw a lot of people who were hating on Warframe, and I'm like, I mean, honestly, I have more complaints with Digital Extremes than the actual fandom.
Yeah.
And it's more like, stop putting stupid systems into your thing in return to just making a really awesome game about sliding around.
Focus on the core gameplay loop instead of content islands. Like, stop making us farm currencies that we can only spend in one shop. If we're gonna get another currency, let the currency have multiple uses or be retroactively useful. Like, if someone got frustrated and didn't want to farm a particular content island, let a new one help bleed over into it to make it less frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, not for nothing. I do appreciate the fact that they actually made the one derelict spaceship not suck so hard, because I really did not like the Dragon Key system.
No, I did not either.
I'm glad they got rid of that. But on the other hand, I'm like,
whoa, okay, there's fall damage in this game.
Did we really need to have, hey, here's another open world segment?
No.
Even if, like, toxic, like, human intestine jungle is actually one of the more interesting places that they've made.
No, it's because, like, a lot of the open world segments were built around the enemy rather than the heroes, which honestly makes a lot of sense given the state of the Warframe universe.
Yeah, but the entire thing of it literally being basically in the infested, without any additional outside forces, like, what would the infested become? Well, the infested would basically make their own ecosystem.
Yeah.
That just happened to be entirely around mutated human tissue, because that's what mostly they have infested. And so you basically get, like, plants that are basically just, like, human limbs, and, like, algae that's basically just, like, human cilia and human intestinal tissue.
Whoops.
And you get things that are basically just, like, living human heads as insects.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Like,
what else are you going to do with all those useless floppy organs?
Yeah. So.
See, when I first started, I had a plan. I have since abandoned that plan, and now anything goes. What happens, happens.
I'm just waiting for the part where you guys have to start excavating, ancient temples in Exalted in order to unearth legendary weapons. I'm just waiting for that, because I know inevitably it's gonna happen. You guys are like, we're fighting celestial sky gods. We need bigger weapons than just a gun.
Well, I have hammers. But to be fair, they're exquisite artifacts belonging to an ancient family of weapons that, correlate with the elements. Because unlike, certain that guys who shall remain nameless, when I make elemental, fiendings for my weapons, they actually have a point.
Are you throwing Clockwork under the bus, or are you throwing Bacon Bits under the bus?
Bacon Bits, dude. I don't remember Clockwork having a particular strong affinity for elemental weapons, but I remember Bacon Bit's whole thing was he was trying to basically make, like, Latrion weapons, and I'm like, first off, even, like, in the confines of Monster Hunter 3, that's not how a Latrion worked. It's like his weapons were dragon affinity, dude. They only had one element.
Yeah.
And really, that was just because they couldn't think of anything better, so they made it so that it could exploit weaknesses you might have. Well, Latrion
honestly,
is not that interesting.
Yeah, I get the sense that Elatron was not that interesting as a concept.
No, it really isn't. Like, it's a fine boss fight. Just like it's just a matter of a lot of the lore around it's kind of neat, because it kind of delves into like how dragon energy is this unnatural force that found its way into nature, and elder dragons like impact their environment so profoundly. Like, okay, that's neat on paper, but mechanically, there's only 5 elements in Manhun, and yeah, they make a difference, but they don't make that big a difference.
I mean,
And they're usually the only four.
Oh yeah, dragon element wasn't a thing, was it?
No, dragon existed. It was ice that did not exist.
Really?
It was water, fire, and lightning, and water. Anything that was
right.
ice
Is that the reason why? Yeah, that's the reason why Kushala is weird.
Yeah, because wind is not an element, so it's a mixture of ice and lightning.
Yeah.
And Capcom has a thing with doing this 3-element system. Like the Mega Man Zero games do it too, where they just have ice, fire, and lightning. And Manhunt was trying to do kind of the same, but then like Dragon Element was like, okay, so it's like, odd man out. Because it's kind of like its own special thing. And then they just had ice monsters also be water, and people were kind of like, that doesn't make sense though. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll make ice element a thing. And
well, I mean, to be fair to Capcom, Square Enix did the same thing in in Chrono Trigger, which honestly always kind of made me go, huh? Because it's like, oh yes, the ancient 4 legendary elements: fire, water, and shadow,
and lightning,
and lightning. Like, okay,
that's not normal. Well, nothing's normal around here, in case you haven't noticed. There's people who actually think Luca's a good character.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, I said it. Fight me.
I mean, you're not wrong. Honestly, my inevitable party for Chrono Trigger is Chrono, Ayla, and Robo. So, I mean, I get it. I get it. Occasionally, I'll swap out Magus for Robo just because I'll need, magic affinity. And yes, inevitably, I will spare Magus because honestly, like, I just feel really, really bad for him. The guy basically is trying to go out of his way to save his people and save his mother from this horrifying alien that's literally, basically using their obsession with power against them. But, he goes about it in the most ham-handed, ham-fisted way and effectively gets, thrown in his butt. And then there's this, guy with a legendary sword from Atlantis who's like, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, you know what? Fine. Let's do this.
Now, plus it's also, like, very heavily implied that Ozzy is in no small part responsible.
They basically
be like,
flat out.
oh, well, you're supposed to be a wizard who fights on behalf of monsters, and monsters need to kill the humans. Why? Because we're different. Just do it. And he's like, okay.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, literally the monsters were created by the floating Kingdom of Zeal, basically as a servitor race. And without the wizards to effectively keep them in control, they're like, well, we're at odds with humans. And so it basically, there's just prejudice feeding into prejudice, effectively.
Yep.
I mean, and I agree. It probably was Ozzy, or whatever his Japanese name is. Was it Ozzy?
I don't know. That's a good question, actually.
I don't think they actually... Yeah, I don't think they were actually named after that, as funny as it is.
I gotta say, there was something different about that era and not fan, but like there was a difference in the way stuff was brought over. It was localized differently, and they did it in a way
Mhm.
that was really cute and charming, and not stupid and bad and political.
Are you saying there's a difference between my boyfriend really likes Guns N' Roses, so I made a reference to Guns N' Roses in this, you know, Japanese game versus I really wish that, this game had talked about Gamergate, so I'm going to make the bad guys into people that I don't like from Gamergate?
Yeah, that. For a moment there, I was being held in place by something. I think I was like in the middle of some specks of dirt.
I was held in place by Gamergate. No!
Yeah, I'm just gonna make the bad guy people I don't like. They said nothing of the sort in the original. I don't care. Hey, I hope every single one of you who thinks like that gets replaced by AI. I
The
said it.
original. I wish that the we are being controlled and gaslit by evil people who wish to control our minds and the thoughts of the consensus, utilizing the power of technology, localization. I hate the chud.
Anyone
The irony.
disagrees with me must be bigoted, racist, and bad man. And I don't like certain
Must.
politicians. You can dislike
I
any
hate.
politicians you want, but don't ruin the author's original intent by slamming your nonsense into the mix. That's really not a big ask, and if you think it is, you're definitely in the wrong profession.
Yeah, I mean, as a localizer, you're a steward. You are trying. You have a property. You have a story that you are trying to bring to a wider audience. It is not your place to try and put words into the mouths of other people.
Nope.
And if you try and do that, try and rewrite things, you are doing a bad job.
You don't
And
know
you
the
should
first
be
thing about what
told.
you're doing, and you should be removed.
Yes. Do I think that the Ghost Story dub, is funny? Yes. Do I think it's a good localization? No. I'm sorry. As funny as it is to have the ghost of the rabbit, have them exercise it after talking about interracial marriage, that's not the way it was in the original, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, as a gag dub, I think it's hilarious. I think Snek can tell you now. I think the Duel Masters dub is probably one of the funniest things I have ever seen, and I really wish that it was more readily available. Hasbro, you are doing yourselves a disservice by not having it be available and out there. And the only way you can see it is basically on bootleg dubs because the original DVDs are out of print. But I mean, is it like a faithful, good adaptation of the original story? No.
Not
I mean,
really, no. But to be fair, Duel Masters in its original incarnation didn't have a personality to call its own, since it was just Hasbro being like, gosh, you know what we want? Yu-Gi-Oh! Money.
yeah. I mean, that's probably a bad example, but I mean, my point still stands.
No, I get what you're saying. Why is this... Price develop depends on current battery? Oh, I guess I've never noticed that before.
Wait, it said you could get dynamite.
Yes. I'm gonna try that here in a minute, because I want to see how good it actually is. And it might clear some of these little floating specks out of my way, if I keep getting caught on them. It's not like Noita. Stuff doesn't fall down when it's disconnected from its contingent parts.
I'm noticing that, yes. It looks like this is based off of Minecraft rules.
Stuff just
Weird.
stays. Yeah.
Yes. OMG, this is happening in the Terraria universe, you guys.
Terraria
Once
had
I get the
selective gravity. It just depended on what you were looking at the time.
Once I get the One Piece, I'll be able to propose to the zoologist.
Of course, you zero in on the furry, you furry.
I'm sorry, Dr. Kittle. I believe the pod is calling you.
Yeah, I deserve that. Okay, let's give this a shot. Okay. Fire in the hole. Should probably stand back a ways. Do I throw it or do I drop it? I said it. That's smaller than I was hoping. I mean, not bad, just smaller than I expected.
Yeah. Whoever was out here digging the treasure must have had like a forklift or something. Like a
Giant for commercial grade drill. Is that just there's a pocket of it. Hello there.
Did you just find a cave?
I just found a cave. This is legit. This goes somewhere. So let me kind of carve a path back to the surface. Then we're gonna go refill our battery. I mean, I am in Treadwade. There we go.
I just found a new place. I'm gonna call it the Devil's Armpit.
Why do we call it that? You know, just seemed right. Take a few lamps just in case, because I get the feeling this is going to get really dark really fast. Okay, let's try not to take fall damage while getting down to the hole. Okay. Oh my god, guys. The Earth really is hollow. The conspiracy theorists were right the whole time!
I better live with the mole people.
Okay, I have to carefully... Copper! Go team!
OMG, is that silver?
Might be. That's silver. Okay. Oh! I have encountered a material I can't dig through. This actually might necessitate dynamite. So now that we're in the weird hollow pockets, I have to kind of jump every now and then just to reorient myself on which way is up. Oh, it's my treasure radar. I was like, why is it telling me this? Okay, hang on. I haven't seen that in so long. I was like, what's going on? I'm going down. Of course, my inventory's full now. Maybe I can work around that. That hurt my soul. Let's go back up. One sec. Whoops. Okay. My Swiss cheese pathfinding is going to require a little bit of refinement. Upside, it does look like the lamps and stuff are permanent. So when I set them, I don't have to worry about them again. Let's buy 2 more. So I guess whoever buried the One Piece just went mad and climbed down into the gopher hole. It was just like, I'm a
Game one with
Morlock now.
game one with. Oh man, Snek, you're gonna. I'm gonna have to read the Time Machine now. I haven't read that in forever.
This dude.
It's really
was like,
sad.
I just really want to bury this treasure in my backyard. And then he discovered a hole, and he went crazy. And he's like, I'm no longer a human. I'm a mole, and this is where I belong. It's that Junji Ito story where it's like, this is my hole. It was made for me.
That actually is really, really sad and depressing because it wasn't just the holes. It was also like they started adding in like the fact that like spirals and everything would start showing up everywhere, and
Okay, it's give us a little more room to breathe. Junji Ito has quite the imagination, and what's really funny is like Junji Ito himself in interviews is like this really just nice guy who's super goofy. And he's just like, oh yeah, like I like cute things and silly things, and I love gag manga, and I'm just like, it's not the stereotype you would expect from a guy who draws stories the way he does. Especially when he had his land sharks, and people are like, oh, it's a story about nature's revenge. He's like, no, I just thought it would be really scary if sharks had legs. And I'm like, I respect that mentality.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Sharks with legs are scary.
That they would be. I 100% agree with him. Gotta be a little more careful in my downwards approach. Yeah, I'm climbing back into my treasure hole. Give me a minute.
I will become one with the Morlocks. We will rise up and feast upon the Eloi and maintain the ancient technology of our forebears. Little did they know that's what they actually meant by eat the rich. You are keeping the rich as actual chattel in order to feast upon later. But they don't want to go into that because, the Eloi are actually like deliberately childlike and cute.
Made funnier by the fact that no movie adaptation really wants to touch on that. It's like every time there's a movie, like in the book, he meets a female of this species, and he kind of describes her like one of the Chipettes from Alvin and the Chipmunks. And he's like, "Oh, this thing wants to like be my companion and hang out." And in the movies, they always pick like some supermodel, and she's just like supposed to be, "Oh no, I'm one of the Eloi." It's like, you don't look like an Eloi. You're just like a lady.
Yeah, the Eloi are supposed to be. They're described basically as like very thin, beautiful, very well kept, very well fed, like effectively like prepubescent children. Yeah, so basically like a chipette. Yeah.
Oh.
And
oh baby, I have a drill. Oh baby.
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole.
That has really good energy efficiency given how much dirt I'm moving. It's time to strip mine it all. Let's take it apart.
Don't just make a giant shaft. I mean, you need to actually like have
a way out.
Way to get back up.
I do. It's called a jetpack.
Children of the mind, but yours dig a hole.
Finally get rid of some of those annoying floating bits, too. Don't have to keep clicking. I was about to bust out my auto clicker there for a bit.
This is the true.
Mountain shall become a tomb.
This is the true deep rock experience.
Well, I always played the driller class, so, you know, checks out.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I'm usually a scout, and then Clockwork is usually our engineer.
We have a good team synergy.
We usually have a gunner with us.
Cog like to play gunner.
Yeah, but Cog is hardly ever with us, unfortunately.
Yeah, he has this unfortunate condition called a life. We
Being
wish
married,
he didn't.
having children,
Yes.
having a family, having a family that loves him. How dare he?
How dare he does that?
Children of the mind rejoice, dig, dig, dig a hole. Well, you know, funnily enough, you know, Diggy Diggy Hole is the only song thus far that, you know, we have been able to get away with not having to pay for.
I am Shovel? So I become one with my drill? I don't understand what you're implying, game.
Pierce the heavens with your drill. Snek the digger.
Kind of make it a conical pit so I have some wiggle room when I come back up again. Sorry, I meant no offense, Madiga. I know that's your word.
Do you think that digger is a pejorative for dwarves? Do you think that is?
Only with the hard R. That's a social
so-
commentary.
So digga is okay?
Digga is okay.
Okay.
Wow, that has a much further reach than I thought it did. Alright then. I would like to come down now. Please let go of me.
Did you see the human and elf about, you know, human and elf getting married?
Oh yeah, the mother's like, you need to get married. She's like, I refuse to submit to the humans. Like, I said nothing about the human.
I never said anything about the human. And yet, as I recall, Mom actually really likes the human.
She does, yes. Every time they interact, she seems to approve of him. Gold, baby! We thought our 6 ounces of gold wouldn't pay off. Who's wrong now, Dad? No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
If I built a
I literally...
big hole in the ground, my dad would probably want to join in. He'd just be like, oh, this is a great idea. Like, where can I start?
Oh, son, I didn't realize that you, too, were becoming a member of the Iron Hills clan. Did you know that I was made an official member of the Iron Hills clan myself?
Is that right? You know, honestly, if my
It's
dad told me that,
after
I
I was-
wouldn't even be surprised. Oops.
Son, I don't know how to tell you this, but did you ever know that I actually was Batman there for a week?
Not right.
Yeah. Batman came to me and he's like, sorry, Snek Dad, but I have to be going to Atlantis for a time, so could you fill in for me? I'm like, oh, Batman, it would be my honor. So then the Joker was there and he's like, I'm going to destroy this orphanage. And I'm like, Joker, have you ever considered about not? And he's like, I never thought about it that way.
I'll be honest, never gave it any thought.
No one ever asked me if I'd just stop.
Well, you know, maybe we should just, you know, pop open the cold one and have a chat about it. Then he did, and the Joker was like, oh gosh, I just never looked at things that way. Maybe I should change.
So you're saying that when I kill people, people die? No one ever told me that.
That's news to me.
People die when they're killed? Wow.
Yes. Fate fans are well aware of this, of course, but not everyone.
That's because Shiro Emiya is just a font of wisdom.
He is.
Says Shiro Emiya.
Wow, the archer class really is full of archers. Which again, that's one of those ones that's a little contextual. He's like, man, archers are really impressive at what they do. Is what he was actually trying to convey there.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the meme things boil down to the original localization of Fate Stay Night was done by a bunch of very zealous fans who are not the best writers, shall we say.
Yeah.
And so it's not the fact that Kinoko Nasu is a bad writer.
Even though
I'd argue it's more... I mean, I don't know. I like him. But he has definitely got his own taste, shall we say.
Yeah.
The fact that all of his erotic scenes tend to be like, and then the naughty bits were like a shellfish. It's like, are they though?
Do they have to be? Does it have
I mean,
to
I
be this
kind of get...
up?
I kind of get where you're coming from, but like, I mean, a lady's snotty bits aren't like a shellfish there, my guy.
No, it looks just like the Pokemon Shelter.
Not really.
No, I'm definitely certain. It's just like a shelter.
Have you
Dang.
ever seen a naked person before?
No. I feel like I'm getting close. I have to be close to the One Piece. And if I'm not, I'll probably just call it a day soon anyway. I have many miles to go before I sleep.
Mini Maz. He's
So, is this telling me I'm close to the treasure? Silver? Silver's good. Silver's worth a pretty penny.
Silver was better as a ermine than a hedgehog. Just saying it right now.
Guys? We found a human structure. we're getting in pretty deep now. Yeah, this is legit. Can't really dig deeper than that right now without destroying ores. So let's find a good angle from which to exit. Whoops. I'm not trying to do that, I swear. I have to carefully reorient myself. I feel like the guy who left me the One Piece might have been going a little bit crazy.
I just decided to go mad with power.
As you do.
Alternatively, a thought had just occurred to me.
What's that?
Hey, yo, it's your boy Goldie Roger. Let's check up on the guy that we sold the One Piece to. And it's just a live stream of you just
Of this
digging.
madman digging
Talking.
further and further into his backyard.
Digging further and further, just talking to himself about, like Morlocks and,
There is no
Okay.
Snek or Jitaku. It's literally all just one guy going crazy.
Would that really surprise anyone?
Probably
Really?
not, for being perfectly frank.
Oh, what is this?
This might be another way into that room with the mine shaft. If it is, it's good. Let's widen this entrance a bit. Yeah, it is. So I put that light up there.
Let's widen the actual opening, shall we?
That's what we're working on here. Oh, hello, Dashi. Think, Goldie Roger is trying to tell me something.
Instructions unclear. I baked a cake instead.
I somehow ended up baking a cake. Which turns out it is a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. Oh, this is a trap.
Come on in, the water's fine. I'm hesitant.
Wow. That was a lot. It is, you know what? I'm beginning to buy more and more into the theory that this is literally Goldie Roger messing with me. And he's just like, guys, I built a fake mine shaft at the bottom of this hole. And now I'm going to fill it with a bunch of money and items that will help him dig deeper just to see if he'll take the bait. Like, that's what this feels like. This is some Truman Show stuff where he's just like, let's just see if we can keep this idiot going and see if he'll just keep digging deeper. That's how stupid is this guy? Does he actually believe like I left him like $1 bajillion on a $10,000 piece of property? It seems like this idiot does believe that.
Yeah.
So for now, let's stop there. If you guys want to see me return to this and continue my swath of destruction, leave a comment down below. The upside is it looks like my neighbor has a retaining wall, so it probably won't collapse in on itself. Hopefully. This is so good. This is a $5 game, by the way. Like, this is just... I can peek into my neighbor's yard. I can't go over the hedge, but I can see it. This is so good. This appeals to the instinct to just dig a hole. Why participate in society? You can just dig a hole instead.
I can become one with the Morlocks. We can
can
feast upon the Eloy.
I can just become one of them. And, I think I'd be okay with that.
I just gotta find me an Orlok waifu, and we'll just, make, little Morlock babies, and you'll just eat Eloy.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, this is enough destruction for one day. Leave a comment if you want to see me continue down into the depths of the earth. And leave a comment if you don't want to see that, and you think that I've gone mad. Because, you'd probably be right in either case. And
Or, comment if, you have no idea what we're talking about in terms of Morlocks or Eloy. And then, we'll have to force Snek to do a book look on the time machine, so.
Yeah. So, join us here in this backyard again, and we'll see you next time.